Our top stories for tonight. IMO dedicates World Maritime theme for seafarers. Singapore, first in COVID-19 vaccines for seafarers. Marino launches training institute. BCG to recruit 5,500 officers, personnel in 2021.
International Maritime Organization (IMO) has chosen to make 2021 a year of action for seafarers who are facing unprecedented hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic, despite their vital role as key workers for global supply chains. The World Maritime theme for 2021, Seafarers at the Core of Shipping's Future, seeks to increase the visibility of seafarers by drawing attention to the important role they play now and will continue to play in the future. The COVID-19 pandemic has placed extraordinary demands on seafarers, with hundreds of thousands of men and women stranded on ships for months beyond their original contracts, unable to be repatriated due to national travel restrictions. A similar number of seafarers are unable to join ships and earn a living. This crew change crisis, which has been ongoing for nearly a year, is a humanitarian emergency that threatens the safety of shipping. Launching the World Maritime theme on February 16th, IMO Secretary General Kita Klim says more government must step up to end the crew change crisis.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin a new year, the COVID-19 pandemic still holds sway, with many countries subject to lockdown and travel restrictions. The development of various vaccines offers the first gleams of hope, although for many seafarers the situation is still desperate. Hundreds of thousands cannot leave ships, whilst many others cannot join. Abandonment of seafarers reached record levels in 2020. This humanitarian crisis threatens global trade and safe navigation as well. We all must do better to support our brave professionals who continue to deliver global trade. The dedication and professionalism of more than 1.5 million seafarers worldwide deserve our great admiration and gratitude, but most importantly, immediate action. A first step would be for all countries to designate seafarers as key workers, as outlined in the UN General Assembly resolution adopted last December. To date, just over 50 IMO member states have done so. We need more governments to step up. Key worker designation is crucial to ensure prioritization for vaccination. Once again, I strongly urge governments to designate seafarers as key workers. With the development of vaccine, there is a need for further cooperation and concerted efforts to facilitate the vaccination of seafarers. I must stand ready to work with all stakeholders on these emerging issues. But the seafarers have not only been impacted by the pandemic, their lives have also been put at risk in other ways. One major issue being piracy incident, costing lives and traumatizing many more who have been held hostage or still in the hands of their attackers. We need to do more, and IMO has decided to make 2021 a year of action for our seafarers. This year's World Maritime theme, Seafarers at the Core of Shipping's Future, is dedicated to the seafarers who have shown tremendous fortitude and determination in continuing to deliver global trade throughout this global crisis. At IMO, seafarers have always been at the center of all our work, be it in the area of safety, maritime security, or environmental protection. However, this year, we want to shine a light on the significance of a human element to the safety of life on board the ships, and the importance of ensuring appropriately trained and qualified future workforce, ready to meet the challenges, opportunities of digitalization and automation. We will also place a special focus on seafarers' well-being, an area highlighted by the plight of seafarers during the COVID pandemic. All these important topics need global attention. We will be hosting many events supporting the theme. Our goal to highlight the seafarers as the heart of shipping throughout the year and beyond. We will unveil our program of events soon. We have a challenging year ahead. Let us focus on finding solutions and preparing for the post-COVID world, a world in which sustainable shipping will play a crucial role. I look forward to collaborating with all stakeholders to enhance the resilience and green credentials of shipping and to putting seafarers first and foremost. Let us all join in supporting our World Maritime theme. Seafarers,
Singapore has started providing vaccines against COVID-19 to their maritime workers, including seafarers. Singapore is said to be the first to provide COVID-19 vaccination to their seafarers and other maritime workers, including port workers, harbor pilots, cargo officers, marine surveyors, and marine superintendents. Muhammad Nashrin bin Ayub, a marine officer, was the first Singaporean seafarer who was vaccinated. Together with the maritime personnel, Singapore has also started vaccinating their aviation workers. Lei Hun Kwa, Chief Executive of the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, or MPA, emphasized the importance of frontline maritime personnel in delivering food, medical supplies, and other public needs. She says, Singapore relies on their frontline maritime personnel and hope that the vaccination can give them peace of mind when they perform their work on board ships. And this will provide additional protection to their families and to the community. Singapore's action immediately received positive reactions from the stakeholders.
Ship owners and transport workers urge European Union or EU members to enable crew changes and to prioritize seafarers for COVID-19 vaccination. An open letter was signed by Martin Dorsman, Secretary General of EGSA, or European Community Ship Owners Associations, and Livia Spera, Acting General Secretary of ETF, or European Transport Workers Federation. The letter says the COVID-19 pandemic has created an unprecedented crew change crisis, impacting upon hundreds of thousands of seafarers, with some approaching 2 years stuck at sea, and that under new restrictions, the situation will worsen rather than improve. EGSA and ETF are appealing on EU member states and EU institutions to ensure that seafarers and maritime personnel should, in line with the key worker status, continue to be exempted from restrictions being put in place, like quarantine and pre-arrival testing requirements. This is to ensure that they can travel to and from EU member states for the purpose of crew changes, shore leave, or repatriation. The groups are also strongly urging all EU member states to designate seafarers as a category of persons to be given priority access to COVID-19 vaccinations. This, according to them, is essential not only because of the crucial importance of their role in the functioning of supply chains, but also in recognition of the heightened infection risk they face because of the extensive travel they undertake to join ships and for repatriation. Up next, Marino launches Training Institute. PCG to recruit 5,500 officers, personnel in 2021. Trending in social media. An insightful video on the sacrifice of seafarers for their families.
Connected islands, safe travels, easy transport, convenient journeys, great destinations. Bridging the Philippine Islands seamlessly, turning them into one. Visit fastcat.com.ph.
At a time when the world stopped, ships kept moving. People still shopped, ships kept on proving. The volume of trade that's moved by sea, 90% of trade, actually. Crops that are weighed, cars that are sprayed, and it's easy to see the impact this makes. Fruit and vegetables, toys and collectibles, wheats and grains, the blood in the veins. Like to land a farmer is, ships are to the sea. And if the world is the heart, ships are the arteries, which stock the pharmacies, move essential commodities. So there's a lot at stake across these seas. Without these routes, half the world would starve, while the other half would freeze. Without these bright-coloured containers, the four walls in our house that contain us would be empty. The books we read, the animal feed, the oil we need, the global lives that we lead. No oil, no cars, no essential spare parts. The sea's version of stars, those flickering lights on the horizon, by moon and by sun, but the journey is never done. As a supertanker proves, the distance it moves is equivalent to 3 times around this earth a year. And we are served by over 61,000 ships. The things we buy, the things that shops sell, the 1.7 million seafarers, it's more than just engines that propel this industry. And it's easy to see that a lot is owed to the people that load. 6,000 ports worldwide, but it's not all plain sailing. It's rough seas and piracy warnings and the change that this inevitably causes. The sea covers 70% of our planet, so you can see why we need to plan it. A global community of knowledge and passion. From salt and sugar to the latest fashion, our ships keep moving products we love using. Ships make the world go. They help trade flow and let business grow.
Via virtual soft launching, the Maritime Industry Authority, or Marina, has announced the opening of the Marina Training Institute, or MARTI. The program was attended by members of the Maritime Industry Board and Management and representatives from various sectors of the industry. The institute is located in the 4-story Marina Regional Office, Western Visayas building, situated inside the Panaad Park in Barangay Mansilingan, Bacolod City. MARITI, as an academic arm of the Marina, is envisioned to be the country's maritime innovation and knowledge center under the Program 8 of the 10-year Maritime Industry Development Plan, providing not only national but global maritime leadership training. The operationalization of MARITI is aimed to improve the capacity of Marina and other partners to innovate and operate modern technologies, to spearhead programs to help the country tackle the changing trends in the maritime industry, and to serve as a systematic educational and training system and facilities for all maritime professionals. In his keynote message, Marina Administrator Vice Admiral Robert M. Pedrad says the MARITI is in line with his 10-point agenda to capacitate the Marina personnel for better service.
As part of my 10-point agenda, we capacitate our personnel so that we can serve God, country, and the Filipino people.
Meanwhile, Marina OIC Training Director Presca Lugo says the institute was conceived in order for the agency not to depend on external grants for capacity building.
The Marina Training Institute is conceived so that we will not be dependent on external grants for capacity building. Likewise, so that we will have structured training programs and that we will have sufficient facility.
The Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, targets to recruit 5,500 officers and personnel in 2021. This was according to PCG Commandant Admiral George Ursabia Jr. during the signing ceremony of the contract of lease with the Power Sector's Assets and Liabilities Management, or PSOM Corporation. According to Ursabia, they would need to train 4,000 strong, while the Bureau of Customs is asking for additional 1,500 Coast Guard personnel to augment their operations this year. Ursabia said PSOM strongly support their education and training. Thus, their challenge was the availability of sufficient facilities to train them. The PCG and PSOM signed the contract of lease for the continuing utilization of the 440,000 square meter facility in Bagat, Bataan that has been one of the major Coast Guard regional training centers since 2014. Meanwhile, PSOM President and CEO Attorney Irene Joy Basido Garcia expressed her gratitude to the men and women of the Coast Guard who have been major players in the country's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Moreover, the Coast Guard Commandant shared that PCG needs the support and assistance of other government agencies and local government units in acquiring additional training facilities not only in Luzon but also in Visayas and Mindanao.
The Philippine Navy welcomes BRP Antonio Luna, or FF-151, the second missile-capable frigate of the Navy, as it traverses Philippine waters in the vicinity of Capones Island, Zambales. BRP Antonio Luna was accorded with customary meeting procedure with passing exercise by sister ship BRP Jose Rizal FF-150 and flyby of 3 FA-50PH jets from Philippine Air Force as it sailed through Philippine waters. FF-151 is the second of the two Jose Rizal class frigates capable of conducting anti-air warfare, anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, and electronic warfare operations. The Department of National Defense and Philippine Navy Joint Inspection Team earlier approved the acceptance and delivery of the vessel to the Philippines. Frigate Antonio Luna will complete the Navy's frigate acquisition project that fulfills the Philippine Navy's trust of having modern platforms and systems that provide opportunities for its personnel to develop modern mindsets and propel the whole organization into becoming a multi-capable naval force responsive to our maritime nation's defense and development.
The Port Management Office of Surigao has rolled out the use of police body-worn cameras with live streaming capabilities and has trained key personnel for equipment operation and command center maintenance. According to Digital Barriers, supplier of said equipment, through the use of the body-worn cameras, the system will allow officers in command center to have visual access to an emergency situation in real time, make intelligent assessment on the risks and dangers in an incident, and even locate an officer who was lost or hurt during an accident. The system likewise can record an encrypted high-definition video, has a built-in micro SD chip for mobile storage, and GPS activation capability. Initially, 10 units of body cameras were issued to PMO's port police officers, along with the installation of various devices for the command center situated at the Port Police Division headquarters in the Port of Surigao. Other devices acquired for the successful operation of the system include, among others, 2 decking stations, which automatically downloads recorded footage while the body camera is on charging status, 1 deck controller, 1 radio frequency identification RFID reader, and large capacity media storage.
A new era of cleaner ports and coastal areas by using less polluting fuels were the result of the new reduced limits on sulfur in fuel oil on January 1, 2020. This brought about a 70% cut in total sulfur oxide emissions from shipping. Raul Hunders, head of Air Pollution and Energy Efficiency at IMO, said, through 2020, just 55 cases of 0.50% compliant fuel being unavailable had been reported in IMO's Global Integrated Shipping Information System, or GISIS. Hunders said that given that more than 60,000 ships plied the world's oceans in trade last year, this was a remarkably low percentage of ships encountering difficulty in obtaining compliant fuel. Under the so-called IMO 2020 regulation prescribed in the MARPOL Convention, the upper limit of the sulfur content of ships' fuel oil was reduced to 0.5% from 3.5% previously. This significantly reduces the amount of sulfur oxide emanating from ships. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, cargo-carrying ships have continued to deliver goods and commodities, including essential foods and medicines, around the world, and the introduction and implementation of IMO 2020 did not cause any disruptions in trade. Provisions in Regulation 18 of Annex 6 of the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, or MARPOL, regulate fuel oil quality. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS, covers issues such as flashpoint. Apart from the requirements in MARPOL Annex 6 and SOLAS, VLSFO is required to meet ISO Standard 8217 as well as ISO publicly available specification 23263, providing guidance as to the application of the existing ISO 8217 marine fuel standard to 0.50% sulfur limit compliant fuel oils. These measures and standards are designed to ensure ships' safety and the protection of the marine environment and oceans.
Fast-tracked by advances in technology and increasing customer demand for sustainable supply chains, A.P. Moller Maersk accelerates the efforts to decarbonize marine operations with the launch of the world's first carbon-neutral liner vessel in 2023, 7 years ahead of the initial 2030 ambition. All future Maersk-owned new buildings will have dual-fuel technology installed, enabling either carbon-neutral operations or operation on standard, very low sulfur fuel oil, or VLSFO. Søren Skue, CEO, A.P. Moller Maersk, said their aspiration is to lead the way in decarbonizing global logistics, solving the practical, technical, and safety challenges inherent in the carbon-neutral fuels that is needed in the future. Around half of Maersk's 200 largest customers have set or are in the process of setting ambitious science-based or zero-carbon targets for their supply chains. Maersk's methanol feeder vessel will have a capacity of around 2,000 TEU and be deployed in one of its intra-regional networks, while the vessel will be able to operate on standard VLSFO. The plan is to operate the vessel on carbon-neutral e-methanol or sustainable biomethanol from day one. Both the methanol-fueled feeder vessel and the decision to install dual-fuel engines on future new buildings are part of Maersk's ongoing fleet replacement. CAPEX implications will be manageable and are included in current guidance.
The Maritime Industry Authority, or Marina, has released the list of passers for the theoretical examinations for marine engineer officers. 25 seafarers were able to pass the examinations conducted at the Marina Central Office in Manila on February 16th. Successful examinees are advised to apply for their practical assessments through their mismo accounts.
A heartwarming homecoming of a seafarer has captured the hearts of many seafarer families. The video was uploaded on LinkedIn by Caleb Engelman, a chief deck officer and maritime logistics specialist from Poland. In the video is a little girl running and finally hugging his father, who just came home after a long time of working on board ship, with caption, "It's no fisher buying. It's men's lives, W. Scott." Dedicated to these people, seafarers who risk and give their everyday life at sea. The video has earned so many reactions and comments. A brother of a deep sea fisherman said he has utmost respect for fishermen like his brother. Tony Green, leadership management and diversity specialist with abundant practical experience in the public and private sectors. A seafarer was reminded of his daughter who celebrated her first birthday on board.
Thank you for watching Marino World Online. Joining us on Maritime Viewpoints tonight at 8 p.m. is Chief Engineer Ephraim de la Serna, CEO of Seaversity. I am Lynn Bacani.
And those are the maritime news and views here and abroad. I am Jel Miranda.
See you again next Saturday, 6 p.m. I am Oni Miranda. This is
Marino World Weekend.